Stay here and patrol. Report if you see one bloody rat.
I knew it. I knew it. All right. Move, quick.
Far across the sea, an island calls.
Nothing ever stays nice. It always turns bad.
Things aren't always nice. You can change them.
How?
The way we always do. We fight.
How far will you go to save the ones you love? A Plague Tale Requiem picks up a few months after the end of Innocence, right around the first days of summer. Amicia and Hugo are headed south, along with their mother Beatrice and the young alchemist Lucas, reaching places still spared by the devouring plague, the raging wars, and the rabid rats that are running rampant in the north.
Is that a fair?
Beneath the warm sun of 14th century Provence, the de Runes are almost able to enjoy a normal life.
You're great! Yeah!
But for a recurrent dream that Hugo has been having of a mysterious island that calls him.
These look like teeth. It's a two-teeth island.
How come nobody noticed their disappearance?
Maybe nobody cares.
Maybe.
One day, the macular illness that's been dormant inside Hugo awakens, and the dreaded living nightmare begins again. In the wake, Amicia finds herself with no other choice but to trust her brother's dreams and head further south towards the elusive island before he's consumed by the terrible macular affliction.
The bite, yes. They've locked the arena down. They let them die here.
It's starting all over again.
Her mind is made up. She will find a cure in what dreams and prophecy may hold.
Get used to it.
With almost no one they can trust,
This is your life now.
Amicia and Hugo must traverse land and water as restless forces stand against them.
Alicia, you're all right.
After the events of last winter, Amicia is hardened, experienced, and when backed against the wall, can be surprisingly resourceful.
Yes!
With several new tricks up her sleeve, she is now able to freely choose between striking from the shadows or unleashing hell with a variety of equipment and tools. Hugo wants more than ever to help his big sister and not hinder their progress.
We need to leave or we'll doom everything.
The macula within him is a double-edged sword that has deepened his connection with the rats.
The rats. They can feel people's blood. Now I can too.
This powerful ability can decimate entire squads of soldiers. It takes a severe toll on Hugo every time he uses it.
What's wrong? What's wrong?
Thankfully, their journey brings not only hardship, but also unexpected friends. These colorful characters help the de Runes carry their terrible burden,
It's not my first time.
while offering unique skills and resources to bring them closer to their elusive goal.
Move as soon as he's gone. It never lost. Got it.
For Amicia and Hugo, the road ahead will test the limits of what they can endure on all levels, and just how far they're willing to go. Reaching the island is only the first step to truly understanding the terrible affliction that's stricken their family. As the lines between reality, fantasy, and fate dissolve, keeping it together and finding the cure to save Hugo will be nothing short of a miracle. But Amicia has hope, and hope is the last thing lost.
Others are burned in it.
If you kill, be ready to be killed.
No! No, no!
A Plague Tale Requiem releases October 18th on Xbox Series.
Wow, what a journey. I don't know about you, but I've been eager to get back to the rat-infested France of the 14th century, which is a sentence I never thought I'd say, and it's in part thanks to this guy over here, Kevin Choteau, game director for A Plague Tale Requiem, releasing this fall. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. I'm super happy to be here.
It's such a good day. So we're going to dive right into that trailer. As it mentioned, this is the follow-up to the smash hit Innocence. So I was wondering if you can catch us up to where Amicia and Hugo are up to now.
So the game takes place in the 14th century southwest France. They came from the southwest, but they had to flee because of the event of the first one. And so we joined them 6 months after the event of the first one on the road. They are arriving in Provence, so southeast France, and we are going to explore this region and also a bit of the Mediterranean Sea.
Lovely. So for those who haven't, or people who are waiting to jump right into Requiem, I should say, but maybe they've not played Innocence, would you say it's recommended reading? Is it important to go back? I'm certain you'll say it is, but what do you think for new fans?
No, of course, they should
play it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, it's we have not rebooted, but rethink everything in the game. So it's a brand new game. We have done everything to onboard everyone joining a Plague Tale universe. So even if you haven't played the first one, you can jump in. It will be good for you.
Absolutely. So I was actually wondering if you could talk a little bit about the sort of accessibility and the onboarding that you've done and what you had in mind during development. What are some of the key changes coming to Requiem, especially for those who loved the original as well?
So there's a lot of new things, of course. You've seen it in a trailer. In terms of gameplay, it's much more wider, bigger, much more open than the first one was.
Yeah, I picked up on that actually, yeah.
Yeah, it was quite narrow, the first one, so we were able to open it even further and offer new tools to Amicia, like the deadly crossbow she has now, or the knife she can use.
Quite the arsenal she's got with her now, yeah.
Yeah, and it's quite different for her because now she's using war weapon. It was not something she was doing in the first one, so she's ready to deal with death much more than
very ready. Deal with death and deal out death by the looks of the trailer. So you mentioned the word new a lot, and I think it's important to point out that this is a new console generation that we're working with at the moment. So what kind of shiny current gen features can we expect to see in Requiem?
So there's many things. Again, the first one that come into my mind is we have pushed the facial expression, the mocap even further. It was a brand new thing for us. We had no mocap on the first one, so we built up our studio. We've learned new ways to work, so we've improved this aspect of the game, and visually it's much more stunning than the first one was. We wanted a larger game, as I was saying, but we needed then more light, because light is a key element of our gameplay.
I love the way every new thing brings its own problems that you had to overcome,
So we had a much more wider area, so it means more light. Light is very expensive in terms of performances for the game, so it was a big challenge. But also, of course, wider space, we need
got to
more
fill it
rats.
with something.
Yeah. So we jump up from 5,000 to 300,000 rats on the screen.
That's a lot of rats to begin with. So sorry, say that one more time. That's 5,000 to 300,000 rats.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you lot okay? That's a lot of rats to put in the video game. Well, I was going to say, well, thanks to all of those rats, it does mean that when we say that Amicia and Hugo have been through quite a lot, I think it's a little bit of an understatement, especially now. And at the end of the day, they're actually still children, if there are anyone out there who didn't know that much background from the story. So how do you go about showing their relationship in an authentic way after everything that they've been through together?
It's super hard to do that because they've been through a lot. They have experience. They were almost dead sometime, and a lot of people around them died. So they have to grow up, be much more mature than what they should be at their age. It's super hard to build up a story and convey a convincing dialogue for children. Fortunately, the team is quite old now, and
age is but a number.
But and we a lot of us have children, so we can be inspired by them and try to feel the best way to convey children emotion to the players.
It must be a very difficult one to do, though. I mean, as a parent myself, I can only reasonably say that I hope I never see my children go through what happens in that game. So what's that sort of like to go, yeah, we're reflecting the childlike experience in the game, but also committing terrors to them?
Yeah, it's this is something we have no inspiration from to take from, because again
you don't want to be inspired by that too.
No. Of course no.
Yeah, well, fair enough. We're going to focus a little bit now specifically on Amicia. As in Innocence, we saw her wielding a crossbow. She's way more prepared, she's way more confident, dangerous, and all round, I think you'll agree, a bigger all-round hero to Hugo. So how do her tactics change in Requiem, and what does that mean for the people playing as her?
So as prepared is the right word. She's ready. She don't want just only to survive or to escape. She's ready to fight if she needs to.
Absolutely.
But she's not forced to. So the player can choose the way he will approach things.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So he can go full stealth if you want. He can go full combat. Everything is still there from the first one. So, but right now you can choose to approach a situation the way you want. So it's not that only the space that is wider, but also the way you will approach things.
Yeah, and by full combat, you mean? I mean, we saw some stuff from the trailer, like all-out combat, right?
Yeah. You can burn people, you can use the crossbow to kill them instantaneously, or you can use the knife to silently kill them. It's all there.
It's absolutely all there, and I think that all comes together in making the experience so much more cinematic, which I want to talk about now, because the other thing that's so fantastic about the title is the voice acting, and I think that becomes essential when you want to convey emotion. So I'd love for you to share a little bit of insight about the development process, working with the voice actors, and getting to the voices and the emotion that we hear in that trailer.
So it's funny because it's something that people don't really know, but when we are working on the game for several years, we don't work with voice actor instantaneously. So for like 2 or 3 years, we work with text-to-speech, so robot voices. And for an emotional game, it's a bit hard because...
And it takes you out a little bit.
Yeah, it's like when you use your smartphone, it's a flat voice with no emotion, no punctuation, nothing that makes really sense. So it's really hard to keep your focus on the story, on even sometimes to understand what is the purpose of seconds. It's after 16 hours of playthrough, you're like, I think I don't get the story at all.
Sure. Interesting that it changes that much. I will say, first of all, I would love to see that version one day. It does sound wonderful. So do you want to... What was the process like working with the voice actors?
So when the voice actor arrived, it changed everything because we were able to work again with Charlotte McBurley and Logan Hannan, which were the actor for Amicia and Hugo from the first one. And we were so in love with their acting. It was a game changer for us to have them back in the game. When they arrived, their voices arrived in the game changed.
I was going to say, I imagine it's a little bit of a chicken and egg situation with voice acting. Who informs the character? Is it you guys designing the character, or does the voice actor come in and actually completely change a scene?
Actually, it's both.
Yeah.
We prepared everything, and they react to what we've wrote, and they say, no, I think Amicia should say it like that, or a bit more like that. So we change that on the fly with them, and adapt the game sometimes to their feedback to make it even better and even more accurate. They are still children, and we are not anymore. So
I love that they have their own feedback as well. It's their character, right? It's their character that they're conveying. So big love for them to feed him back as well. Right, well, lastly, for anyone who is watching this segment out there who can't wait to play Requiem in October, which, by the way, is day one on Xbox Game Pass, and maybe you're not here in Gamescom as well, I'd love to know what you would like to tell the folks at home about Requiem.
So we're super glad to have it day one on Game Pass, because it means that a lot of players will be able to try the game and to give us feedback, because I really want to see their reaction. You know, I can't wait to see that. We've built up the games in several years, and we write up this big story, and I really want to see people's reaction to that. And
the community have been really close since the first title as well.
Yeah, and it's thanks to them that we were able to do the sequel, so we're super excited.
It's a love letter to them
yes.
by the courier device of rats. 300,000 of them, to be of advice.
300,000 rats of love.
Absolutely fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm a massive fan of the series, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
Thank you again.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. But when it comes to self-care,